When Be'lakor the Dark Master enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. That is a Warstorm Surge on a stick. So combined with the companion, Garuda, this deck can storm and snowball out of control. Garuda is your companion, so the starting deck only has even mana costed cards. We don't run Soul Ring, but we are running Mana Crypt. Go ahead and leave a comment, let me know what you think about that down below. When Garuda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyards. You can put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among them onto the battlefield under your control. This deck is running 21 ways to clone Garuda. So, the likelihood of you hitting another clone when Garuda enters the battlefield is very, very high. Speaking of clones, some of the notable ones are Sakashima of 1,000 Faces, Sakashima the Imposter, Spark Double, and Auton Soldier. All of these clones don't care about the legendary rule and allow you to stick powerful clones of legendary demons onto the battlefield. Notably, Auton Soldier gives the clones Creature Myriad, which sets up situations where you can have 2 demons ETBing every combat step on your turn. You don't want to clone Garuda with these clones if you can help it, and should instead focus on cloning your commander and cards like Burning Rune Demon, Villis, Broker of Blood, Rakdos the Showstopper, and Bloodletter of Aclazotz. Burning Rune Demon lets you tutor for any 2 cards. We have so much redundancy that you can tutor for any 2 cards that do the same thing you need at any given time. Put one into your graveyard and the other one into your hand. And don't worry, plenty of recursion so we can get the thing you put in your graveyard back later. Villis literally turns your loss of life into card draw. Rakdos the Showstopper flips a coin for each creature that's not a demon, devil, or imp, and you have a 50-50 shot of destroying them. Cloning this card can keep your opponent's boards clear of problematic creatures. Bloodletter of Aclazotz lets you double your opponent's loss of life on your turn, and having multiple clones of this means you're stacking this ability. So with 2 of them, it's times 4. With 3 of them, it's times 8, so on and so forth. Now, let's talk about our veggies. Nope, not that veggie. We're talking about the thing that every deck needs: ramp, interaction, and card draw. These are all the cards that are part of our ramp package. But the ones you want to pay attention to are Dockside Extortionist, Heartless Summoning, and Rakdos, Lord of Riots. These are the pieces you don't care about having in your opening hand, but they are some of the stronger ramp pieces in the deck. Dockside is the best ritual in Commander and can be cloned, flickered, and recurred to catapult this deck into victory. Heartless Summoning makes all of our creatures 2 generic mana less for the low price of giving them -1/-1, which we could care less about with our 6/6 flying and sometimes trampling creatures. Rakdos, Lord of Riots, is another piece that makes our creatures cheaper for each damage we deal to our opponents. Ramp is important in every deck, but even more so in this deck. That's why we're running 17 pieces, because without these, we'll never be able to double spell in 1 turn, and these cards allow us to triple and even quadruple spell long before we ever should have otherwise. Next, we have our interaction package right here. The notable cards are going to be Rakdos the Showstopper, Calidus Assassin, Evil Twin, Warstorm Surge, and our Commander. These 2 pieces of interaction pull double duty by being great hits for Garuda and getting rid of creatures on your opponent's board when you need to. Warstorm Surge and our Commander are win conditions, as well as direct damage on ETB to any target, to include creatures if shit's hitting the fan. Then this brings us to our card draw package, which might be looking a little light at first, but trust me, we'll always have access to our Commander, and the deck is built to always have access to a clone or 2. The notable pieces here are going to be Burning Rune Demon, Villis, Broker of Blood, and of course, our Commander. Now, we already covered why these cards are so good in this deck, so I'm not going to belabor the point. I know what you're thinking. This game plan seems very easily interrupted and a little weak. But that's why we have our protection and recursion package. These cards are here to get back and protect our win conditions and our key creatures. Some of the notable cards are going to be Teferi's Time Twist, Illusionist Stratagem, and Deadeye Navigator. These cards are all flicker effects, allowing us to instantly flicker one of our creatures if targeted by removal. It protects them and gets their ETB all over again, with Deadeye Navigator being a well-known combo with Dockside Extortionist. Did I mention this deck is an optimized list, so don't go playing it against precons. Lastly, let's go over some of the powerful plays in the deck, as well as the 5 rules I use when I'm piloting the deck. These cards are some of the strongest in the entire deck and will win the game on the spot or lead to memorable and explosive game actions. Starting us off, we have Blade of Selves. It's an equipment that sticks around and gives the equipped creature Myriad. So it turns that creature basically into another Auton Soldier, which we covered earlier. Corporeal Projection in a similar fashion is a one-time shot of giving a creature Myriad, or you can overload it and give all your creatures Myriad. Whip of Erebos gives all your creatures lifelink, including your commander, so if the deck is doing what it's supposed to be doing, you'll be dealing damage and gaining life for every demon that enters the battlefield. And Rite of Replication. This is a 9 mana win condition with your commander out. Casting this card with the kicker and targeting your commander will make 5 copies of Bellicor. This puts 25 triggers on the stack to deal 6 damage to any target. You'll also get 5 triggers to draw cards and lose life equal to the number of demons you control, but only 1 Bellicor will count towards this, so you don't have to worry about losing the game off that. You'd end up drawing 5 cards, losing 5 life, and dealing 150 damage to the table. If you draw into this 9 mana win con and the table lets you cast it, you should win the game on the spot. Now, let's get into my 5 rules that I use when I'm piloting this deck. Number 1, if you can, hold on to your interaction and use it to save yourself. Your interaction should be used on your opponents as a last resort to stop them from winning the game. Number 2, don't be afraid to take damage and lose life, especially if it's to draw cards. You are never gonna win a game with 40 life in this deck. In fact, I challenge you to win a game with 40 life in this deck. Take the damage, draw the cards, it is well worth it in the long run. Third, never keep an opening hand that doesn't have any ramp in it. You want your starting hand to have at least 2 pieces of ramp, so feel free to mulligan and mulligan hard. Rule number 4, be creative with the deck. You're running a lot of clones, and your opponents should be playing decks on a similar power level. Use your clones to copy their creatures and help your game plan along. Knowing what different creatures do across the board is going to be very beneficial to you in this deck. And lastly, if all else fails, your opponents can catch these hands. Okay, you are running a good amount of demons and clones of these demons. They're typically going to be 6/6s and they have flying. Most of them have trample. Punch face if you need to. Go ahead and attack, because attacking is a very good way to win any game of Commander. Thanks for checking out the deck, and I'll see you at the next one. Now, if you'd like to see a gameplay video covering the deck we just went over, feel free to click this video here. Also, over the next 2 gameplay videos that come out, we'll be featuring Bellicor the Dark Master,